you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jacob Tiranno, and today I'm going to be doing my week 1 update on my 365 or 366 day movie challenge. So last week I announced that for the year of 2016, I'm going to be doing the 365 day movie challenge, though it's a leap year, meaning it'll be 366, but that's not important. 365 movie day challenge means I have to watch a movie every single day that I've never seen before. It has to be over an hour, and the day lasts until I fall asleep. If you haven't seen that video, you can click the eye up here, or up here. I forget exactly where it is. Click the eye. You could actually watch me accepting the challenge on YouTube, or click the link below and you'll be able to find the blog post. But I want to recap to everyone my first week. So overall, it has been quite easy so far. Granted, I know out of the 366 days, I've only conquered 7 of them. But it's been really enjoyable. It's given me an opportunity to really kind of make myself watch movies that I've been wanting to see for a long time. 2 in particular this week. My first film was the 2014 movie from Chris Rock called Top 5. He directed and wrote it. Stars Rosario Dawson, Gabrielle Union, and of course Chris Rock himself. We have appearances from Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld. I mean the cast, everyone in this movie. I mean, there's so many people in this movie. Cedric the Entertainer, Ben Cole. It's a bit J.B. Smoove. I mean, there's a huge cast here. Overall, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was funny. I think it's arguably Chris Rock's best thing he's ever done. I think the movie is smart. I think it has a lot to say about what's going on in entertainment culture. And this commentary doesn't go unnoticed. The movie does have some parts that I think I could have done without, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. I wasn't too crazy about the Cedric the Entertainer part or Rosario Dawson's boyfriend's escapades part. I just didn't think it was needed, and this movie was saying so much and had such great dialogue and such great chemistry between them those scenes that are just out there and crazy and goofy are taking away from the amazing scenes of Rosario Dawson and Chris Rock just simply walking in New York and communicating and talking about Planet of the Apes and talking about his life and her life, and their chemistry is just so dynamic and so strong in this movie that it's just really, really enjoyable to watch. So I really enjoyed that movie. Day 2, I watched The Skeleton Twins, another movie that I've been dying to see for quite some time. It was written and directed by Craig Johnson. It was also written by Mark Hamill. Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader would star in the film, as well as Luke Wilson. This film obviously carries 2 of one of the strongest SNL cast members of recent times. And I really, really wanted to see it last year. Again, it was a movie that I just kind of missed and never got a chance to go back and watch. Louis Corzolo, my co-writer and partner on here, he really, really told me, like, this is a movie you need to sit down and watch. So it was a great opportunity to watch it. I think this is one of those movies that proved the fact that comedic actors are usually very good with drama, if not better at drama than anyone would expect. Bill Hader really, really knocks out of the park here as a suicidal, really kind of lost man going through his 30s and just trying to find a way to life after you find out some dark things from his past. Kristen Wiig is kind of living a life that she's not very excited about or really wants to live. And it's about them reuniting after a decade, after Bill Hader tried to kill himself. And it's about them reconnecting and kind of visiting those old sores that would cause them to not talk for 10 years, including their mother, Bill Hader's past, there's so much going on here. There's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of things that'll make you laugh and crack up. I actually thought Luke Wilson was really, really funny in this movie as well. Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader obviously have a chemistry already that's already been developed on SNL, so it was really, really good that transferred here because their love for each other seems so real, and their anger with each other and their frustration. There's some really, really harsh scenes where they really go head to head, and I believed every moment and every word that they said. I think that really, really speaks to how good Skeleton Twins was. So another really successful movie. So the next night, I watched The Freshman, the 1925 film directed by Fred C. Newmeyer and Sam Taylor, and starred Harold Lloyd. So it's an older silent film from 1925. basically about a Harold Lloyd entering college and wanting to impress everyone in college and to do good and to make sure he impresses everyone and be the college man of the year. And it's basically him his journey going through being someone that he's not, getting made fun of, and just kind of being the joke of the town as he is believing he's fitting in where everyone is just kind of making fun of him. He eventually tries to join the football team and they lie to him and tell him he's joined, even though he's basically the water boy. The reason why I watch this film now is because I've heard that the Criterion Collection's Blu-ray release was one of the best looking transfers ever, and I have to agree. I mean, that movie looks so beautiful. I bought the Criterion Blu-ray. I've had it, I believe, since my birthday in September, and I've never had the chance to sit down and watch it. It was my first time watching the movie, and it is hilarious. It is beautiful. You know, I've always been the Charlie Chaplin fan. You guys already know that if you've been following my work. But I mean, any silent film I have a strong affection to. I mean, I love silent film. It's my emphasis. Like, that's what I care about the most. And I'm still discovering so many silent films. And, you know, anytime I talk to someone about silent, they're like, have you seen this, 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 and this? I'm just like, no, man. And this is the greatest opportunity to do so, because now I can just watch all of these films. But I'm trying to mix it up. You know, it depends on my mood that day. It depends on how much time I have. And all these things are kind of factors that I have to figure out throughout the week. Like, okay, do I have time to watch this 2-hour movie today? Probably not. So let me watch this movie today. Or, you know, like, you know, I'm kind of feeling in a real serious or intellectual challenging mood, so I might watch a documentary. Or if I'm feeling something goofy and light, I'll watch something goofy and light. So, or I'll just go random. But this was definitely a great watch, and I really enjoyed it, and was so glad to finally see The Freshman. Next, I saw An Honest Liar. An Honest Liar for day 4 was a really, really great watch. If you don't know what The Honest Liar is about, it is a film surrounding the amazing James Randi. And James Randi was a world-renowned stage magician and escape artist who eventually stopped doing magic to dedicate his life to debunking and exposing psychics and people who claim to speak with the dead, any sort of thing like that. It's about his life, dedicating his life to exposing them. The amazing Randy is one of those people who have offered $100,000 up to $1 million to anyone who can pass a set of controlled tests to prove their abilities. This was a really, really great movie, but not what I was expecting. This movie came out 2 years ago, 2014. And I was expecting just clips of him debunking these people and why he does it. And though that is explained, and we do get to see some amazing moments, it's more about his personal life and, you know, who the amazing Randy is, and actually talks about him and his partner, who I didn't know anything about. I'd never heard anything about his story of him and his partner, which was really, really fascinating. And you kind of find out that this person, his partner Jose Alvarez, and their relationship is all kind of based around some deception. And it was just a really fascinating documentary. I think that it is kind of a niche documentary. I mean, it does tell a very interesting story about a man and his lover, but in the sense that you have to kind of really be into hearing him expose these things, or how he would trick scientists. For instance, a lot of the university scientists would be like, oh wow, this person does have abilities and does have the abilities for psychic abilities, or can do things. So he would send magicians in to fool these scientists, and he did it, and he would have to tell everyone, oh, nah, it's just a hoax, it's not really real. So it's really, really fascinating. Another great watch. I mean, this week was a really strong week. Everything I saw pretty much was really, really good. Day 5, the next day, I watched The Wolfpack, another documentary that I was recommended to by Mr. Josh Bell from Las Vegas Weekly. Well, I had heard about it, and I asked him, and he told me it was really, really good to check it out. I might mispronounce her name, but it was directed by Crystal Moselle, and it tells the story about the Angelou brothers, who live on the east side of Manhattan, and whose family kind of had them restricted from the outside world. And these 7 brothers all live in this apartment, and that's where they have grown up. And, in one of the, I think, opening moments of the movie, he says, sometimes you're allowed once or twice out a year, sometimes none. I think the most he says is 7 a year. And it's about how they kind of coped with growing up, and that was movies, and how they watched films, and how one brother would watch a movie and record every single line of dialogue on a pen and paper, create a script. They would, using cereal boxes and tape and things around the house, recreate props and costumes to recreate all the movies they loved. The very first opening of the film, they're recreating Reservoir Dogs. We see them recreate Batman, or The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight Rises, we see them recreate. What's another one we see them recreate in the movie? Pulp Fiction, if I didn't say that already. I mean, there's a lot of really great movies. I was like, wow, these guys really put in a lot of work. They're filming, they're editing, and they talk about, why their dad specifically kind of kept them locked in this thing. I mean, they're not like, well, they are kind of held captive until they're older, where they actually believe that they just should leave, and they do, and they start going out in the real world, and it's kind of how just much of an outsider group they are when they're outside, and they go and visit Coney Island and things of that nature. Really, really fascinating documentary. I described it on Twitter, which I'm tweeting every single day, the movies that I'm watching at Jacob Tiranno. You could follow me there. It's something that's just so fascinating, and it leaves you with so many questions. The movie ends with you just being like, wait, no, I have so many questions about this character, this character, this character, this character, because there's so many of them. And it's just one of those movies where I can't look away. I was so fascinated. The first 5 minutes, I'm just like, oh my God. I texted, this was on Netflix. I texted Louis, I said, hey, just check out the last 5 minutes of the Wolfpack. We ended up both watching it that day and talking about it a lot. Very, very fascinating movie. A great watch, especially for movie fans. The following day, a recommendation that I get all the time, and I just kind of missed again from 2014, was Chef, a movie that was directed, written, and stars Jon Favreau. We also have appearances from Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson. The film also has John Leguizamo, Sofia Vergara, and tells the story of a but a very, very popular chef who ends up losing his job and decides to start a food truck to kind of regain his passion for food and regain his glory. Very similar to Burnt, which I saw last year, which I thought was an okay film. Personally, I liked Burnt. I liked the culinary style of it, but I think Chef touched me more, and I had a more enjoyable time watching Chef. I thought it was a lot more fun and heartwarming, and though the food doesn't always necessarily look as beautiful as it did in Burnt, Burnt, the food looks phenomenal. But this is opposing a food truck to a Michelin star restaurant. Jon Favreau is really good. It's just a very heartwarming movie, a very fun movie. I think the only problem I had with this film was the last 5 minutes or so. It's one of those situations where things just end too neatly, too nicely, and I wasn't a fan of that. And wrapping up for my last day was the 1980 film Fatso, directed and written by Anne Bancroft, and starring Dom DeLuise as well as her. This film tells the story of Dominic DiNapoli, whose cousin recently died of being fat at 39, and his sister begging him to lose weight. It's time to lose weight. And it's just about his trials and tribulations through losing weight and him meeting a woman. I wasn't a fan of this movie. As a bigger person, there's a lot of things in the movie that I can relate to and I find funny because obviously this movie is very, very exaggerated, but we all have kind of, I could see, like, I've been there, or I understand that, but to me this movie didn't really have a specific voice. I don't think the movie didn't know how to approach being overweight. I think Roger Ebert said it best in his review of the film, which he only gave 1 star, that you could either go about it in a comedic sense or a dramatic sense. And this movie kind of tries to juggle both, or maybe just doesn't know what to say about being overweight or being fat. And the movie just has this odd tone. It never really kind of says what it wants to, and it's shot oddly. I mean, the way that this film is shot is so odd, and some of the choices of camera angles are just so confusing. I just didn't understand it. So to me, it wasn't that great, but Dom DeLuise is fun to watch. So that is week 1. That is update number 1 from the 365-day movie challenge. Make sure to tune into all of my reviews for all the films that I'm going to be watching at Jacob Tiranno. You can follow me at Twitter. The link is below. Again, that's Jacob Tiranno, JACOBTIRANNO. Of course, you could also follow everything on Chasing Cinema. I'll be doing weekly or bi-weekly blog posts about the experience, as well as my Instagram. I mean, there's things everywhere, all down here in the description box below. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Jake from Toronto, and please continue chasing cinema.